get a prayer book. That'd be awesome. Does everyone have a prayer book that needs one? Yes? Chag Sameach, everyone. Happy holiday. What holiday is it today? Simchat Torah. That is absolutely right. Part of Simchat Torah is Yizkor, so we will have a moment of remembering. Oh, thank you so much. That's fantastic. You'd think a rabbi would have a prayer book, but I needed one. So we've got our Torah here. We're bringing a second Torah out just for extra freilach in a moment. And we're going to start on page 516. 516. 516. Ooh, it's a little windy. Does anybody mind? Are you cold? At the bottom of 516. For a blessing and not for a curse, amen. For life and not for death, amen. For abundance and not for famine, and we all say, amen. It's at the bottom of 516. Thanks, Claudia. Livracha velo liklala lesova velo lerazon. Livracha velo liklala hay 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 hay. Lechayim velo lemahavet. Lechayim. Lechayim velo lemahavet. Lechayim. Lechayim. Livracha velo liklala. You all say amen. Ready? Livracha velo liklala. Amen. Lesova velo lerazon. And we all say amen. Livracha velo liklala. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Lechayim velo lemahavet. Lechayim. Lechayim velo lemahavet. Lechayim. Lechayim. And you all say amen. Thank you, everybody. 532. This is going to be a very joyful celebration, but first we take a moment to remember. Just like we remembered on Yom Kippur, we remember our mothers and our fathers. We remember a brother and sister. We remember a husband and a wife. We remember, in some cases, even children, God forbid. As we make a moment here, as we join in Jews all over the world to on Simchat Torah. And by the way, in Israel, today is Simchat Torah. Last night and today. And in the diaspora, the tradition for conservative and Orthodox Jews is that it's this evening and tomorrow. So we're connected to Israel that way. And we're going to go to page 536, where we're going to take a moment for silent reflection. If you don't feel like reading, that's okay. To think about loved ones who have passed away and who have infused your life with sweetness because they touched your life. At the bottom of 541, El male rachamim shochen bamromim, hamtzei menucha nechona tachat kanfei ashchina, b'malot kedoshim utehorim, kezoar haraki hamahazirihim et nishmot kol ele, shehizkarnu hayom livracha, ana ba'al harachamim, הסתירם בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם, וינוחו על משכבותם בשלום ונאמר, Amen. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That's Psalm 23 on 545. 545. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me lie down in green pastures. God leads me beside the still waters. God revives my spirit and guides me in the path of righteousness for the sake of God's name. Though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai forever. And in celebration of all of our loved ones, we join together in Kaddish Yatom on page 546. 546. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach lirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'agalau v'zman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'alnei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei dekudashah brichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav huyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, and we say Amen. You know, a few weeks ago on 9/11, the 20th anniversary of 9/11, I did a wedding Dafka in New York City, and the bride and groom, they felt that, as New Yorkers, they felt that it was so important to kind of take back that day from those who had caused sadness, right? And so on Simchat Torah, similarly, we transition from some of the melancholy of memory to the joy of memory, and from memory we go to the joy of Torah. And so we're going to continue with our Ma'ariv service on page 50 with the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vahed. Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vahed. Page 52. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochveinu u'vekumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, Leolam vahed, ki hem chayeinu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, ki hem chayeinu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, ki hem chayeinu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla v'racha al tasir mimenu leolamihim baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. On page 54, we all know the Shema. Let's take a deep breath and sing the Shema together. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shoshana, are you out there? I love when you lead the Ve'ahavta. Oh, there you are. Can you do it as loud as you can? Okay, go ahead. On page 54. We make our way now to page 60, and the 1, 2, 3, the sixth to last line on page 60 is Mi Chamocha. We're going to be dancing in a little bit. And let me tell you what's going to happen today, because it's coming soon. First, we're going to finish our prayers in for a few minutes. Then, we have staff that's here. They're going to help us to unroll the Torah so that you can see it almost all the way. We'll see how much we can open it. And we're going to read the very last verses of the Torah, and then we're going to read the very first verses of the Torah. Then we're going to dance a hora, and we will find a way to dance, you'll see. And then you know what, we're going to do something very unusual. I'd never heard of it, but I thought of it. Since you didn't get to smell the etrog because we couldn't put it near our face, I'm going to cut open the etrog. You're allowed to do that as the holiday ends. Sukkot is over. You're allowed to cut it open as long as you use it for a Jewish purpose. In other words, you wouldn't want to throw it in the garbage, right? So people use it for a Jewish purpose. So I'm going to squeeze a couple drops in your hands. You can go like this. And then when you get back to your room, you can put your hands on your face and you can smell it. So that's how we're going to end at the very, very end. But for now, we're going to finish our prayers with the song that was the first dance that we know of in Jewish history, where Miriam led the dancing of Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha Bahelim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Nehedar Bat Kodesh, Nora Tehilot O Seifele, Nora Tehilot O Seifele. If you go to the bottom of 64 and 65, there's a famous line that we proclaim on these festivals, the Shalosh Regalim, Sukkot, Shavuos, and Pesach, and we're at the tail end of Sukkot. Repeat after me. Vaydaber Moshe et Moadei Adonai El Bnei Yisrael. It means, and Moses proclaimed the festivals of Adonai to the children of Israel. We're on page 66. Yitkadal v'yitkadash me'raba be'amad yivrachirtei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei techol veit Yisrael b'hagala b'hagala uvizman kahari v'meru amen yehi shmei rabba mevorach ve'olam olam ve'halvaya yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'pa'ar v'yidromam v'yidnasei v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu leila min kol birchata v'shihirata tushbechata v'nechemata tahamihiran be'alma v'yimeru. Amen. We're going to take a moment for silent prayer. You can read the pages beginning on 99, which is a special Amidah for festivals, beginning on 99 if you wish, or you can take this moment for silent prayer and meditation. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. In a couple hours, you'll be having your festive meal. But for now, on page 114, we're going to make Kiddush. 114. It's a special melody for the Chag. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol aham v'romemanu mikol hashahon v'kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'avah moadim l'simcha chagim uzmanim l'sason et yom Hashmini Chag ha'atzeret hazeh zman simchatenu mikra kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim umoadei kodshecha b'simcha u'sasonim chaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Yisrael v'ha'azmanim, and we say Amen. I don't typically drink in front of you, but I'm so scared it's going to spill on the Torah, I'm going to turn around and drink it really fast. One sec. Wow, that is some strong kosher grape juice, I can tell you. I'm practically tipsy. From the sugar content, I might actually be having a reaction. I'm not sure. Okay, now we get to the really, Shechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lahazman hazeh. Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, who has brought us life and sustained us and had us arrive at this sacred and holy moment in time. We had Rosh Hashanah, we had Yom Kippur, we had Sukkot, Shmini Atzeret, and now Simchat Torah, the celebration of the Torah. So, what is this holiday about? We are a very unusual people. We read the exact same book every year. I had a friend in high school who had a lack of memory. He was able to read the same book over and over again and enjoy the humor and all that each time because he forgot, okay? We don't forget. We remember the Torah cycle that our ancestors read and that we read. And we come at this time, at exactly this day, where we read the last verses of the cycle, and then we roll it to the beginning, we read the first verses. Well, we have a tradition here at the Jewish home where we unroll the Torah for you to see. So I'd like to ask our staff who's come and been so generous with their time and thoughtful to come and make a kind of a circle in front of you so you can see as much in front of you as possible. Alana's going to help. And we're going to actually unroll the Torah. How many of you have never seen a Torah unrolled before? How many of you have seen it? Okay, this is very, very exciting. It's one of my favorite Jewish rituals of the year that we do here at the home.
Equipment. We're going to go in front of the equipment. Okay. Let me move. Rabbi, can I move this? Where's IT?
I think he's right.
I think
he's
this.
Right there.
Rabbi, can I move this?
Can you call him, please?
I think I can move this speaker. Let me move this back a little bit. Rabbi, can I move this?
Yeah. I'm asking right now.
I think this we can move back. Hold on, let me just move the... Okay, so let's move that a little bit more.
Any chance we can move this back?
Can we move this back, or is this the camera?
I'm not going to be there anyway anymore.
Sorry about that. Okay, let's move this a little bit more. Oops, there you go. That's good. Okay, we ready? I think you too.
Ready? You got it? I got it.
Okay, so one hand up. Very gentle. Then put your hands just a little bit apart. Yeah, perfect.
We need more people. Closer.
You can come a little bit closer. Okay, so come a little bit closer, Denise. Yeah, like right here.
We got to be closer to each other.
So it doesn't fall.
with it. It's kind of like a workout.
Testing. Oh, perfect. Can everyone hear on this mic? Oh, perfect. I feel funny going in there. Okay, thank you. I do. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, this mic is strong. Do we need to turn it up or it's good? Can everyone hear? Everyone hears okay? All right. So what I'm going to do, because we read right to left. That's the beginning of the Torah, okay, where Claudia and Irma are, right? That's the beginning. And here, I'll just take a little walk through the Torah with you for a minute. This is Bereshit, the very, very beginning of the Torah, right? And then we soon get into the Torah portion of Noah and the ark. Then we get into Abraham and Sarah when they first came along. Then we get to Isaac and Rebecca, and we get to Jacob and Rachel and Leah. We have the 12 sons of Jacob. Here we already have, hold on a minute. Oh, here's Isaac. Hold on. And here's Jacob and Rachel and Leah. Jacob, still at Jacob. Let's see, Melech Mitzrayim. Okay, 1 second. We're almost at the end of the book of Exodus, at the end of the book of Genesis, which you can tell because there's going to be a break. Here it is. You see that little inch? For those of you who are closer, it's a space like 1 inch thick that tells you we're at the end of Genesis. We get to Exodus. The most fun page in Exodus is the one that has the Michamocha. See, it looks like the parted sea, right? When we continue on Exodus, here's the 10 Commandments. And we go all the way here. They're wandering through the desert until we get to Leviticus. Again, there's a break right here. And Leviticus sort of stops the story and just gives us law after law. And most of the laws are kind of boring now because it has to do with the Kohen and sacrifices, except for a couple of areas within Leviticus around here where it has laws about how to be a mensch. All kinds of rules about being a good person, expanding on the 10 Commandments. Here we get to Numbers, and the story picks up again, where they start kvetching like crazy, but also they're counting how many people there are. Does anybody remember how many there were? 600,000, they say. Or at least 600,000 of fighting age. There's a disagreement on whether there's 600,000 altogether or 600,000 of fighting age since they had to defend themselves. So they're complaining, but they're also taking on the responsibility of carrying the Torah on their very shoulders and carrying all the sacred objects, just like our staff is doing now. Here we come to the end of Numbers and the beginning of Deuteronomy. Some scholars think that Deuteronomy was written later because it repeats a lot of what already happened. Other people think the whole Torah was given by God at Mount Sinai. There's no discussion. But those who think the Torah was written by human beings when it was written down, think it was actually a different author who wrote Deuteronomy, because you'll see in Deuteronomy, for example, we have the 10 Commandments again. The 10 Commandments again, but here a couple of the words are different. Well, why would it be in there a second time? It's very interesting. Or did God mean for it to be that way for us? That's a mystery. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to read the last verses, and then I'm going to read the first verses. But the way we're going to do that is by asking the whole congregation to do the aliyah. Okay, not one person, but the whole congregation. There's such a thing as the bride and groom of the Torah. Today, we're not picking one person. Everyone here is either a bride or groom of the Torah. Okay, some people call it the king and queen of the Torah. From my point of view, you are all kings and queens. So here we go. I'm going to call you all to Torah. Ya'amdu kol ha'ke'ilah shel Grand Cell Village, the Los Angeles Jewish home, hachaverim shalanu, hachamudim shalanu, harishon, ready? Baruchu et Adonai hamvorach, Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten ha'torah. And you can all say, Amen. By the way, what these last verses talk about is how there was never another person who came to the people of Israel and that were a member of our people like Moses. There was only one Moses, and what was special, it says here, is that Moses spoke to God panim el panim. Lechol ha'otot ve'hamoftim asher shalacho Adonai lasot be'eretz Mitzrayim lefar'o ulechol avadav ulechol artzo ulechol hayad hachazakah ulechol hamorah hagadol asher asa Moshe leinei kol Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Yasher koach. Now we're going to do it again. Baruch Adonai Avarach Le'olam Vahed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Amen. Breshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. V'ha'aretz hayta tahu v'vahu v'choshech al pnei tehom v'ruach Elohim merachefet al pnei hamayim. Vayomer Elohim yehi or vayihi or v'hayar Elohim et ha'or ki tov vayavdel Elohim bein ha'or uvein ha'choshech. Vayikra Elohim la'or yom ulechoshech kara laila vayhi erev vayhi baker yom echad. This means that in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. God said, what did God say? Let there be, and there was light, and there was evening, and there was morning, day one. And that's why till this day Jewish days start the night before. That's why Shabbat doesn't begin Saturday morning. It begins Friday night. Vayhi erev vayhi boker. There was evening and there was morning, day one. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. This is your Torah. This is your story. Cherish it. It has been passed down to you generation after generation. You are the latest link in a chain that's 3,500 years old, that has told these stories, that has sung these stories for one reason: to celebrate life so that we can be good people. To celebrate life so that we can make the world a better place. As the prophets would say, to celebrate life so that we can be a light unto the nations. We don't need Torah if it just means rituals. We need Torah for the rituals, which make our lives sweeter, but we need Torah to help us to know the way, to be a mensch, to be a good person. And so I'm so honored to be on the path of learning Torah with you. I'm so honored to have such incredible staff. Let's give them a hand for coming and holding our Torah for us. It's an incredible mitzvah, so thank you for that. So now what we're going to do, we're going to roll the Torah back slowly and carefully because it is our tree of life. And then we're going to dance. And so we can, if Sergio has his hands free, you can go ahead and start the music again, and we will slowly and carefully turn the Torah. What do you want to say, Ilana? What'd you say?
Which side are you
I think for efficiency, yes, and then I can roll it to the beginning later. Thank you for asking that, yeah.
Nagila hava, nagila vedes hava, nagila hava, nagila hava, nagila vedes hava nera nena, hava nera nena, hava nera nena vedes hava nera nena, hava nera nena, hava nera nena vedes oh ru achim achim v'lev sameach achim v'lev sameach achim v'lev sameach achim v'lev sameach achim over the valley voices are singing, bells are ringing, dance everyone dance, come to the valley, run through the clover harvest is over, dance everyone dance. Dance where the corn was high under a golden sky. Dance where the wine was born. Dance, everyone dance. Whirl and turn about. Lift up your arms and shout. Join hands, skip along. Dance, everyone dance. Turn left, turn right, hold tight. Lift your feet, the heart will follow. Lift your voice, fill the hollow. Spread your wings like the swallow. Spread your wings like the swallow. Fly away. Greet the day. Dance, dance, everybody dance. Nagila hava, nagila vedes hava, nagila hava, nagila hava, nagila vedes hava nera nena, hava nera nena, hava nera nena vedes hava nera nena, hava nera nena, hava nera nena vedes Simchat tov, u'mazal mazal tov, Yehei lanu l'kol Yisrael, Amen. Simchat tov, u'mazal mazal tov.
We're now going to have a hakafah, meaning we're going to dance with the Torah. Okay, we're going to dance with the Torahs, and I hope that you'll join us. Maybe we can make the next song a little more upbeat. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's good. Can staff help us dance by helping people with their wheelchairs to dance around with us, please?
עוד לא שתתי דשא, עוד לא הקמתי עיר, עוד לא נתתי קרן על כל גבעות הקיר, עוד לא הכל עשיתי ממש במו ידיי, עוד לא הכל ניסיתי, עוד לא אהבתי די, איי איי איי, עוד לא אהבתי די, הרוח והשמש על פניי, איי, עוד לא אמרתי די, ואם לא עכשיו, מתי? עוד לא הקמתי שלט, עוד לא חיברתי שיר, עוד לא ירד לי שלג באמצע הקציר, אני עוד לא כתבתי את זיכרונותיי, עוד לא בניתי לי את בית חלומותיי, איי איי איי, עוד לא אהבתי די, הרוח והשמש על פניי, איי, עוד לא אמרתי די, ואם לא עכשיו, מתי? ואף על פי שאת פה ואת כל כך יפה, ממך אני בורח כמו ממגפה, עוד יש הרבה דברים שרציתי לעשות.
By the way, this song means I have not loved enough. You could have loved for 10 years, 50 or 60 years. You could be 100 years old. Or lo hafidai. We haven't loved enough yet. That means we have more love to give today and tomorrow. Okay, our friends, thank you so much. We can keep the music playing. What we're going to do now is we're going to come around. This is the first time in my life I've ever done this. We're going to cut open the etrog, and if you want, put your hand out and we'll squeeze a little etrog into your hands, okay? I want to say to everybody, thank you so much for coming. Let's give a hand one more time to our staff. But I especially want to thank you because you made us a community. Our community is you when you show up. So thank you so much for being here. I look forward to a great year ahead of studying Torah, learning Torah, and reading Torah. Chag Sameach, everyone. And being joyful.